Holy shit.
In the vast tapestry of human history, there lie hidden enigmas and secrets that have evaded the annals of time. From lost civilizations to perplexing phenomena, welcome to a journey into the realm of the inexplicable. Today, we embark on an expedition to uncover the forgotten mysteries that have intrigued and mystified generations. What is Area 51? Area 51 has been a subject of intrigue for decades. Until 2013, the government never officially confirmed its existence. Even today, public satellite images yield no insight, and visitors with security clearance are discreetly flown in on unmarked planes operated by Janet. Based on historical evidence, Area 51 is believed to be a hub for developing and testing experimental aircraft and weapons. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The shroud of secrecy has given rise to a plethora of conspiracy theories. Some speculate it's a haven for crashed UFOs and alien experimentation. Others suggest research on time travel, teleportation, even meetings with extraterrestrials. The list goes on. It's not just about aliens. Some claim it's a center for weather control research or even activities linked to a shadowy one-world government. The origin of these theories remains as mysterious as Area 51 itself. One thing's for sure, though. People love a good conspiracy theory. Remember when some believed the moon landing was faked back in '69? The incident at Dyatlov Pass. On the first night of February 1959, high in the remote mountains of what is now Russia, 9 experienced ski hikers embarked on a fateful journey. They set up camp, had dinner, and were all set for a good night's sleep. Little did they know something unimaginable was about to unfold. Fast forward to February 26th, and searchers stumbled upon the hikers' abandoned tent, which was inexplicably torn open from the inside. Surrounding the tent, they found footprints, some in socks, some with a single shoe, and even some barefoot. These tracks led to the edge of a nearby forest where the first 2 bodies were discovered, both shoeless and wearing only their underwear. Initial signs pointed to hypothermia, but as medical examiners examined the bodies, things took a dark turn. One hiker had a blunt force trauma consistent with a brutal assault, another had third-degree burns, and one was even found vomiting blood. To make matters stranger, one hiker was missing a tongue, and some of their clothing was radioactive. Hypothermia didn't fit the puzzle anymore. Theories about what happened that night have ranged from KGB interference to drug overdose, UFO encounters, and even gravity anomalies. Some folks even suggested the Russian version of the Yeti was involved. A documentary filmmaker recently proposed the idea that infrasound, a low-frequency hum created by wind interacting with the landscape, might be the culprit. It can induce powerful feelings of nausea, panic, dread, chills, nervousness, and even physical symptoms like a raised heartbeat and breathing difficulties. Could this invisible force be the key to unraveling this mystery? In the end, the only thing we know for sure is that whatever happened at Dyatlov Pass involved an overwhelming and possibly inhuman force. It remains one of the most chilling unsolved mysteries in history, leaving us with more questions than answers. Where is Jimmy Hoffa? On July 30th, 1975, Oakland County, Michigan, Jimmy Hoffa, a prominent Teamster union leader with alleged ties to organized crime, vanishes into thin air. It's like a scene from a movie, but this is real life, and it's one of the most captivating mysteries we've ever come across. Fast forward to 1982, and Jimmy Hoffa is declared legally dead, yet his fate remains unknown. The burning question on everyone's mind: who killed him, and where is his body? Law enforcement and forensic experts have scoured Detroit and Oakland County for decades, but the answers remain elusive. Theories have come and gone, but few have stood the test of time. Take, for example, the popular theory that Hoffa's remains were buried beneath Giants Stadium in New Jersey. That theory was debunked. In 2021, FBI agents conducted a site survey at a former landfill in New Jersey, following a deathbed confession from a worker who claimed they buried Hoffa in a steel barrel back in '75. And guess what? No steel barrel was found. The FBI, never one to give up, declared that nothing of evidentiary value was discovered during that search. They may not have found answers then, but their commitment to uncovering the truth remains unshaken. Who killed JFK? On that fateful day, November 22, 1963, in Dallas, Texas, President John F. Kennedy was tragically shot. Lee Harvey Oswald was quickly identified as the shooter, though some believe he might not have acted alone. 2 days later, Oswald was shot by nightclub owner Jack Ruby, who claimed he wanted to spare Jacqueline Kennedy the ordeal of a trial. This event added a layer of complexity to an already baffling case. While the mainstream narrative holds that Oswald acted alone and Ruby acted independently, there are still many who don't buy into this explanation. Many professional historians and amateurs offer alternative theories. The lack of conclusive evidence, coupled with the plethora of conflicting interpretations, means we may never have a definitive answer. Given the passage of time and the unlikelihood of significant new evidence emerging, a consensus on what truly happened that day may remain elusive. Ghost ship, the Mary Celeste. On December 4, 1872, a chilling mystery unfolded in the vast expanse of the Atlantic. The British-American ship, the Mary Celeste, was discovered adrift and empty. Its cargo was intact, provisions ample, and everything in order except for one crucial detail: a lifeboat was missing. This enigmatic vessel had set sail from New York to Genoa, Italy in November 1872 under the command of Captain Benjamin Briggs. On board were 7 crew members, including Briggs's wife and their 2-year-old daughter. Luxuries like a sewing machine and an upright piano adorned the ship, indicating a comfortable journey ahead. The ship's logbook, however, held no clues. The last entry showed no signs of distress or unusual events. So what could have led to the abandonment of a perfectly seaworthy vessel? Theories abound. Some speculated mutiny, others a pirate attack. There were even wild tales of encounters with sea monsters. But in recent years, a scientific theory has emerged. It suggests that alcohol fumes on board may have caused a non-explosive explosion. A bizarre scientific anomaly that left no burn marks but was terrifying enough for Captain Briggs to order everyone into the lifeboat. And with that, the crew vanished into history, leaving the Mary Celeste as one of the most enduring mysteries of the high seas. To this day, the fate of those souls aboard remains an enigma, lost to the depths of time. Were the Hanging Gardens of Babylon real? One of history's most intriguing mysteries. Were the Hanging Gardens of Babylon real or simply a legendary tale? It's a question that has baffled scholars for centuries. Ancient writers were mesmerized by the description of these gardens located in the heart of the ancient city of Babylon, modern-day Iraq. Although we can't pinpoint their exact construction date, these gardens were so astonishing that they earned the title of a wonder of the world. Around 250 BC, a scholar named Philo of Byzantium penned these fascinating words: "Plants cultivated at a height above ground level, and the roots of the trees are embedded in an upper terrace rather than in the earth." Here is the twist: archaeologists haven't been able to find any remains that match this description in the excavations of Babylon. This raises the question, did the Hanging Gardens truly exist, or were they a product of ancient folklore? It's a mystery that has kept experts on their toes for generations. In 2013, Stephanie Dalley from the University of Oxford proposed a groundbreaking theory in her book. She suggested these legendary gardens might not have been in Babylon, but instead at the Assyrian city of Nineveh. This theory shook the foundations of what we thought we knew about the Hanging Gardens. Unfortunately, over the past 2 decades, both Babylon and Nineveh have suffered immense damage from wars and looting. These tragic events have made it even more challenging for archaeologists to unearth the truth behind this enigma. Roaming ruins. In 1982, off the shores of Brazil's Guanabara Bay, renowned treasure hunter Robert Marks made a jaw-dropping discovery. Beneath the waves, spanning an area equivalent to 3 tennis courts, lay the remains of over 200 Roman ceramic jars. Some were miraculously intact. These ancient vessels, known as twin-handled amphorae, were used for transporting goods like grains and wine, dating back to the 3rd century. The Romans weren't known to have sailed this far west. Their trade routes typically centered around the Mediterranean and the Middle East. So, how on earth did these artifacts end up here, 15 miles off the Brazilian shore? It's a puzzle that has left historians scratching their heads. There are theories, of course. Maybe an inexperienced navigator veered off course during a storm, leading the vessel to these distant shores. Or could it have been a mutiny, with the ship's crew taking matters into their own hands? The truth remains elusive, lost in the depths of time. Despite the tantalizing clues, further research in the Bay of Jars was halted in 1983 as Brazil sought to deter looters. Some speculate the government had another reason, that the presence of Roman-era artifacts might challenge the official narrative of Portuguese explorers being the first Europeans to set foot in Brazil. What is the Voynich manuscript? The Voynich manuscript is a mysterious tome, roughly 250 pages long, filled with an entirely unknown language and script. It's been carbon dated back to the 1400s, but its secrets remain locked away. Alongside the cryptic text, the manuscript is adorned with illustrations of plants that defy identification. None of them resemble any known species. It's like a botanical code waiting to be cracked. This enigma gets its name from Wilfrid Voynich, a Polish book dealer who acquired it in 1912. He believed it might be the work of either Albertus Magnus or Roger Bacon, both prominent figures in alchemy and early science. But here's the twist. Some skeptics suggest that Voynich might have spun an elaborate tale around the manuscript. The manuscript's journey through time is a labyrinth. Its first confirmed owner was Georg Barisch, an alchemist from Prague in the 17th century. He stumbled upon it, tucked away and gathering dust in his library. Barisch, fascinated, tried to trace its origins but failed. Over the centuries, it passed through various hands, leaving a trail of intrigue. The big question remains, was it genuine work or a clever fabrication? Well, here's the clincher. Carbon dating of the paper and ink vouch for its age, leaving us with more questions than answers. So here we stand, centuries later, face to face with the Voynich manuscript, a riddle wrapped in an enigma and a true testament to the enduring power of mystery. It's a glimpse into a world we may never fully comprehend. Do the Pollock sisters prove reincarnation? In 1957, tragedy struck when two young English sisters, Joanna and Jacqueline Pollock, aged 11 and 6, lost their lives in a devastating car accident. Fast forward a year later, their grieving mother gave birth to twins, Gillian and Jennifer. Now, this is where things get truly intriguing. As the twins grew older and started to talk, they began making astonishing claims. They started identifying and requesting toys that once belonged to their deceased sisters. They even pointed out specific landmarks only Joanna and Jacqueline would have known about, like their school. Imagine the astonishment and disbelief their family must have felt witnessing these events. The twins would sometimes become visibly distressed at the sight of idling cars, exclaiming, "That car is coming to get us!" It's a spine-tingling detail that adds another layer of mystery to this already baffling story. As the years passed, these incidents gradually became less frequent, and the girls went on to lead what we might consider normal lives. But the imprint of their past remained, leaving us all with a lingering question. Could this be a case of reincarnation? Enter Dr. Ian Stevenson, a psychologist who dedicated his life to studying cases of reincarnation. Among thousands of cases, he documented 14 that he believed were genuine, including that of the Pollock sisters. His meticulous research sheds light on the inexplicable, leaving us with more questions than answers. Where are the Sodder children? George and Jenny Sodder of West Virginia faced a nightmare no parent should endure. On that fateful Christmas Eve in 1945, their home went up in flames. Miraculously, 5 of their 10 children were saved, but what happened to the other 5 remains a haunting mystery. Astonishingly, no trace of the missing children was found amidst the ashes. It defies logic. There were no remnants, no sign they were ever there. A puzzling start to an already perplexing tale. The plot thickens when we consider the eerie details surrounding that tragic night. George's coal truck, crucial for rescue, mysteriously refused to start. Phone lines were severed, leaving them isolated. A witness even claimed to have seen the missing children from a passing car during the fire. Adding to the intrigue, a woman at a Charleston hotel reported a chilling encounter. She identified 4 of the missing children a week after the fire, accompanied by 2 men and 2 women of Italian descent. Attempts to reach out were met with hostility. The Sauter family believed their children were kidnapped for ransom or even to coerce George into dangerous affiliations. Their Italian heritage and George's outspoken criticism of Mussolini may have played a role. For decades, a billboard stood as a beacon of hope, seeking answers. To this day, Sylvia Sauter, the last surviving child, holds on to hope. She refuses to believe her siblings perished in the fire. The mystery endures, leaving us with more questions than answers. What really happened to young Walter Collins? It all began in 1928 when Christine Collins reported her 9-year-old son missing from their Los Angeles home. 5 months later, a child was presented to her by the police, claiming it was Walter. But Christine knew something was terribly amiss. The child before her was not her son. What followed was even more perplexing. Instead of investigating further, the LA police accused Christine of being a neglectful mother and, shockingly, had her committed to a mental hospital. It was a shocking turn of events, leaving Christine isolated and desperate for answers. The real Walter Collins was never found. Over time, authorities suspected he fell victim to convicted child murderer Gordon Stewart Northcott. Astonishingly, Northcott's mother even offered a confession for Walter's murder. Yet, despite these leads, the truth remains elusive. Walter's body was never recovered, leaving us with a haunting question mark over his fate. The most confounding aspect is the police's involvement. Why were they so insistent on convincing Christine that the imposter child was her son? What motivated this elaborate cover-up and who was behind it? These are questions that continue to perplex investigators and history buffs alike. The case of Walter Collins remains one of the most perplexing mysteries of the 20th century. A mother's unwavering belief in the truth and a son who vanished without a trace. As time marches on, we can only hope that one day the answers to this enigma will finally become known. The disappearance of Paula Jean Weldon. Paula Jean Weldon, a promising 18-year-old sophomore at Bennington College, vanished without a trace on December 1, 1946. It all started when she told her roommate, Elizabeth Parker, that she was going for a long walk. Little did anyone know it would be the last time they'd see her. The search initially focused on Vermont's Long Trail, a rugged 270-mile path that stretches to the Canadian border. Local witnesses claimed to have spotted Paula, but the trail yielded no tangible leads. What followed were a series of baffling leads that only deepened the mystery. A Massachusetts waitress reported serving an agitated young woman who matched Paula's description. This lead took an even stranger turn when Paula's own father disappeared for 36 hours, following up on this tip. This unexpected move put him under suspicion. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that Paula's family life was more complex than it seemed. She hadn't returned home for Thanksgiving, and tensions with her father were revealed. His theory that Paula's disappearance could be linked to a romantic entanglement added another layer of intrigue. Over the years, new leads emerged, including a local man who claimed to know where Paula's body was buried. However, he couldn't provide any concrete evidence, leaving investigators stumped. With no crime scene, no body, and no forensic clues, the case grew colder. New England author and occult researcher Joseph Citro introduced the concept of the Bennington Triangle. This theory posits that a unique energy in the area attracts extraterrestrial visitors who may have taken Paula with them. The bridge at Overtone. That calls dogs to their maker. Situated near Dumbarton, Scotland, the Overtone Bridge has gained notoriety for an eerie phenomenon. Since the early 1960s, around 50 canines have tragically lost their lives here, while hundreds more have taken the perilous leap, some even returning for a second attempt. It's a puzzling and heart-wrenching series of events that has left both locals and investigators scratching their heads. The Scottish Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals has tirelessly investigated this mystery, but answers remain elusive. From a scientific perspective, it's highly unlikely that dogs possess the intent to take their own lives. Yet something undeniably compels them to leap from that very spot, always on bright, sunny days. It's a chilling pattern that defies explanation. Some believe the bridge may be haunted, a notion that gained traction after a tragic incident in 1994. Others suggest a mink might be leaving an irresistible scent. drawing the dogs towards their tragic fate. There's even speculation about a sound anomaly that only dogs can detect. While these ideas are intriguing, none have provided a definitive answer. So what can dog owners do to protect their furry companions? Well, it's a simple but crucial piece of advice. Keep your dogs on leashes while near the Overtoon Bridge. Until we unlock the secrets behind this enigma, it's better to err on the side of caution. And there you have it, folks. The strangest unsolved mysteries. If you found this as fascinating as I did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more intriguing mysteries.